Creative Moment, Season 10, Episode 3. Your host, as always, dressed in some non-traditional attire. I'm not in a jersey, although it is under here. Jamie, Mr. Bullhauer, as we call him today, as he's dressed in his teacher attire. But we're still bringing the heat with these episodes, even though it's a little colder outside today. So, let's go ahead and get right into it. Today, we're talking about community and kind of how to build it, what that kind of looks like, the challenges of building kind of a creative community, just kind of all of the things that entail what surrounding yourself in a creative space with other creatives or just other kind of like a support system community looks like. So I know you just went on, was it a podcast or a YouTube live thing?
No, as a Spaces. On X live, and then you can listen to
which you do a lot.
Yeah.
So you're part of a lot of online communities.
I am, and I don't know, and that's like one of the questions, like what is, if you can build an in-person community to a degree, is that better than just relying on social media or online communities? And sometimes that's hard. We've talked about communities, but we really wanted to dig into that because at the moment, for poetry especially, and writing and stuff, like I really don't have a solid community here in person, and so I have to kind of rely a little bit in that regard on the online part. But you do have, at least you get a little bit at times of more connection with people, your business, things like that. I don't know. What do you? The hard answer is online or in person better.
So it's an interesting question because a lot of my in-person contacts that I have like a community with, 80% of the time we interact online through iMessage or whatever, not necessarily in-person meeting up. There is a different level of fulfillment, and we talked about it was the last episode or whatever, where I met with a couple different people that was really filled my bucket, and that was really nice. One, the guy from Memphis, that's the first time I've seen him in years, but the other guy lives in Hastings, and we've connected multiple times over the past few months just to catch up, chat, whatever. I think in-person interaction is obviously better, and I feel like there's more of a personal connection when you're face-to-face, even if it's 10% of the time that you interact. My friend Alyssa, who I talk to literally every day, it would not be the same if we had never met or hadn't seen each other in 6-7 years, whatever, and we just never connected face to face. It would be a different kind of conversation, but I see her probably once or twice a year.
Yeah. So
in-person connection, I will always say, is better, but when you just have just an online community, I feel like it's easier for people to interact quicker. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks for me to set up a conversation at a coffee shop with somebody. And that's hard because then I don't want to just text him throughout those 2 weeks that we planned here. I don't want to text him every day because then what do we talk about when we actually meet up or whatever. And so I feel like it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like there's two sides to it. I would lean in-person community is way better, but you have access to a lot more online, a lot more availability just in the day, and you have access to a lot more just different people that like Dave Durham, who we've interviewed, and just the people that we've interviewed that know. Those are people that you would never meet in person or never have a community with in person because they live elsewhere or that sort of thing.
And the one aspect of the in-person part, and we'll try to talk about how to here in a little, is because I've had communities where we would FaceTime and stuff, and hold, have a group of writers and stuff. And to a degree, the beauty of the in-person or even online, like a Zoom, especially in the writing area, is that the emotion can be expressed. All you've got, to a degree, especially like in spaces and stuff like that, is your voice. Which, in one way, because of that, I think that's helped when I get the chance to go to open mics and stuff like that. Like, that has helped just dealing with audio, but it's not quite as fulfilling. It doesn't fill your bucket as well. So the hard part is, how do you find in-person community? Like, how?
That's something where it just kind of is organic for me. I have not part of it may be living in a smaller town, but I have sought after.
Some of them could, it's hard in a small town.
Right. I don't know any other poets or writers in Hastings. Not that I go out and seek them, but I just don't know anybody else that is an author from here. And I would say I'm pretty involved in a lot of different spaces in town. And I'm friends with a lot of people here that are in somewhat similar places, like a t-shirt printing shop. There's creativity involved in designing, whatever, but they're not necessarily... We don't talk about creative stuff for the most part. It's more like business related. I think it's really hard to go seek that type of community because I've joined 2 different organizations where that was kind of my main purpose. Hasn't really developed any long-term connections. Every sort of kind of community or person that I kind of bring into my creative community has just been kind of organic, whether it be through, just seeing them on social media or whatever, mentoring them. That's kind of how it comes to me. So I don't know necessarily how you find a community, because sometimes even just posting on social media like, hey, I'd love to reach out to people in the Hastings area. If the right people don't see it,
at the right time.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a good piece of advice for how to go seek out in-person community, unless, my old Strive family, we still have a group chat called Strive Fam, whatever. We haven't met in 2 years. And the one time we met, it was super fun. It was great, whatever. But we all had to drive to Lincoln. Mm-hmm. And only one of us is from Lincoln in that group chat. And that's a hassle because a lot of them have families and all this stuff. And that's the closest we could get to our in-person community that would and we haven't met since then in 2023. So it's hard. It's hard. Finding one person, I feel like you should consider yourself lucky to be able to just have one person to be able to bounce ideas off of or just meet up with and talk creative stuff.
Yeah. And some other, depending on where you're at and stuff, big city and stuff, I know because I've gotten up there to do some slams, I've gotten up there to do, and I can tell there's a community of them that get to participate, because they usually run a open mic or a slam once a month at the Lark, some of these places. But I can't run up there all the time. I just can't. It's, without
sacrificing a large part of life.
Yeah. And so that is, that's, I think, where you live dictates that a little bit. And smaller towns, there is a writers group here in town and we do meet. But it has its own unique parameters and to a degree what I'm really looking for at the moment in regards to community and stuff is really feedback and getting, I really want some criticism on my stuff. I want to kind of in a sense break through, and that's not what that writing group is about, and that's cool. And so in person is a challenge. Is a challenge. But the one thing I notice, even with in person and online, is as you mentioned about scheduling and time, is the time that it actually takes, no matter what, online or in person, to foster and be involved in the community. It's almost just the podcast characteristics that I was on. The 3 hosts really had a great time, and it was like, you know what? We agreed on so much stuff, and it was like, oh, this could be a cool group. But they've already got their group. They're a host. They've been doing this for like their podcast or their online X Space show, and I could probably foster that, but it's going to take a lot of time. And even with the jam, I listened for quite a number of weeks before I actually stepped up and started to share my stuff. I just what was the vibe? And then now I've got, if I really want to still be a part of the community, they changed their hours of the show. It's a little bit later. And one of the things if you really want community, you got to be willing to spend time being involved in it, fostering it, reaching out. And to a degree, I've just the last year, it's kind of not disheartening. That's not. Sometimes you work and spend a lot of time to try to build a community, and it doesn't come back.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not even just creative community. That's just relationships in general. Sometimes you can give and give and give, and just nothing. You're not getting the return, and that's just where I struggle with. I guess I could put more time into trying to foster a community and trying to do these things. A lot of the people I know that are college kids at UNL, they have a super strong sense of community with their just social media channels. They're all like commenting on their posts and reposting whatever. And I know all those kids, they never interact with me because I'm not like, one, I don't see them every day. Like that's the in-person part. 2, I do not spend as much time as I should if I want to build a community around me, interacting with them and giving toward that community. I just feel like I should be working on projects and posting and this, that, the other thing. So that is where I struggle to build kind of a community more than what I have, because I'd rather just spend that time creating stuff, and it takes a lot of energy and effort to critique people or to just support them or do that. I just rather, now the only time I really get on Instagram is to post my work. I don't look at other people's work as much. I just post, get on to the next project or answer emails or whatever. And that's something that it takes a lot of time, and if I comment on one of their posts because I really like their photos, that's not enough. I need to DM them and talk to them. Hey, I love what you're doing. I need to constantly make an effort to build that community, and I struggle.
And I think as you were talking, though, that's one of it's kind of a catch-22, because almost all creatives create by themselves. Do you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, you're in the midst of a video, painter, we hardly create with anybody else around. But that takes so much time and energy to do that, and you want, in ways that we fill our buckets and we get inspired, but
you want people to come to you and comment on your post. Hey,
you do. We are kind of selfish in that. It's kind of but it's because it wasn't an experiment, but with the battle poems each week, a couple weeks ago, I was like, okay, I want to make sure all the poets, I commented almost on everybody's, and everybody's like, thank you, and the interaction, but it took so much time. I actually got my bucket filled a little bit, because when you give, people appreciate that.
It's that time of year. It's the holidays, people.
It's the holidays. But yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that every weekend.
And then when it's not reciprocated, it's just really easy to just say, well, that was a waste of time.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to do that anymore.
But that's how it's finding, whether it's in person and finding that or online. And sometimes to a degree, it feels like it takes more time online. Because if you get that chance to sit with somebody for 2 hours, those 2 hours probably goes by quick. You feel like,
And you can see the intention through just body language and how you talk to them versus digitally you have to make a serious effort on how you craft your comment.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Just saying the right to make sure that the tone comes across. And when I'm critiquing somebody's post or highlighting, so I'm like, okay, this is what, because I'll preference sometimes I can be wrong, because I like the depth of stuff. I don't especially like to just, hey, that was nice. It's like I want to bring out this line. I want to talk about that. And yeah, it takes just more time. And it doesn't fill your bucket as quickly. I think 2 hours at a coffee shop, I'd just be
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I feel like a lot easier to build up, and this isn't one case fits all, but a lot easier to build up kind of a superficial community online as well, where if someone's going to meet you in person just to talk or catch up, they either like spending time with you or have value in that interaction. Where online, a lot of people will just comment on my stuff, follow me, and I'll see 2 weeks later they unfollowed me because I didn't follow them back or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's weeding through the intentionalities of people online is sometimes hard because you think, oh, I have a community, I have someone I can count on, and then you try and count on them, and it doesn't. They're an online reliability.
So the online thing, this happened, I think, about 3 weeks ago for trying to build community online and stuff. This account kind of highlighted a few of my things. I was like, cool, hey, thanks. And basically within a few little messages, they were trying to sell their service. And you're like, oh my gosh, does anybody like my stuff without trying to sell them? Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? And you gotta,
but they don't want to take the time to build a community or to support you unless they're going to get a return.
And they're, and it just is like, and it happens in person though too. It does, but to a degree, it doesn't happen so fast, or it doesn't. You kind of know if somebody's meeting with you to and you're like, okay. But online, you can just get caught up in the quick gratification of they forwarded or replied, and then all of a sudden within a couple, you're like, oh.
Well, and so I think I'm very genuine, but I almost think of some of my community as, I don't know, an asset is just a wrong way to put it. But I connect with them and I care about them. But one of the reasons I stay in touch is so I can, one, provide them opportunities either for money or exposure or whatever to go shoot for me, maybe an opportunity that they wouldn't get otherwise. That's why I keep in touch with some people. But I obviously do care about them, and I always make sure for this coming week for semifinal football, I have to text 20 people to try and get to 14 games and see who can go where, who can do what. I keep in touch with those people throughout the year knowing that will help me maybe increase their availability, which I know everybody lies to me about their availability when I say, can you go out to Garden County, Nebraska? But part of the reason I keep in touch is so I can increase their availability and so they'll want to do more stuff for me, but also because I do really enjoy that sense of community and being able to see how they're doing and what they're creating and that type of thing. And I feel like it's so much, we kind of either are so much, oh, your stuff's cool, buy my course or whatever. It's so much either this way, or it's like, not that being the other way is bad, where it's just I care about you, but I'm never gonna really, think of you for jobs or whatever, that sort of thing. Like, I have a group of people that I talk to regularly with the thought in mind I will want to hire them in the future, but I also care about their work and support their work online and that sort of thing. And I feel like it's just so much like, why would you talk to somebody if you can't get something out of it, type of thing. And while I do like maintain those relationships, if they said no for 5 years straight on semifinal football, that doesn't mean I would not care about the work that they're doing necessarily, and would just cut that like cord off.
Yeah. Well, that's a part of you either enter or within this world, it's either you got the all or nothing mentality, or the, hey, you know what, we can all win. The
creative industry is so competitive for no reason.
Yeah,
the gatekeeping is just like, how about, like, a lot of my friends were direct competitors. That does not mean that we can't celebrate each other's successes or give them referrals or do that type of thing. One of my friends just got engaged. Guess what? I referred him to my friend. I don't care that I lost that money.
Yeah.
Like, I'm celebrating her being able to get business and to do that. Like, the creative industry is just too much of, it's either me, and if it's you, I'm gonna prey on your downfall.
Yeah.
Like,
and it does not have to be, and all kind of, because you know what, the best-selling list changes all the time. Someday I might be on there, but who knows? Hopefully. But it is. And that's what I love when I give more. I feel when I choose to give the feedback for people and stuff. I'm all like, spend time on that message X, whatever X says, tweet. Like, hey, this is what I noticed. This is what and I do. Again, I do preferences sometimes. Hey, I could be wrong, but most of the time I'm not. And then you're like, wow, thanks for seeing that, because all creatives, the selfish part, and I'm only saying selfish, we want to be seen, we want to be read, we want to, that fills our bucket too, because we know that what we created has connected with somebody. And so I do think you got to be ready to spend time if you're gonna, whatever community you try to get involved with, you got to search it out both in person and online.
Whether the fruits of your labor are produced or not. I mean, you just have to try and just see what comes.
And there are some people, and communities come and go a little bit. And that's the other part, I think, on the internet or in social media and stuff like that. Like, they can dissolve, just like, all of a sudden we're just gone, or this, or people who would hold regular spaces. Like, I've been involved, and then now they're just gone. They're just, and you don't even know why they stopped. On Wednesday nights, I used to listen to one waiting for Aaliyah for CCD and stuff, and now they just don't. And they're like, okay, what happened? And you don't know, and it's kind of like, it's odd. It feels weird because you're just
being ghosted.
You feel like you're being ghosted without knowing what happened. So,
yeah, I mean, there are a lot of communities out there, both online and in person. It does take effort and it does take time, and if that's something that you want, you're gonna have to, just like when I started my own business, I always tell, like, when I do my public speaking, I had to put value at the feet of my potential customers before they saw it and before they wanted to invest money in me and put, like, I had to do it first. I had to do the legwork so they could see what I could provide before they provided something back to me. And it's the same thing with community. Like, you have to, for most people, prove that you are worth being a friend or whatever before they'll kind of like start putting effort back into. And that's just kind of, it sucks, but that's just kind of the reality of it.
Yeah.
So, we like community. We like new friends. If you want a community, The Creative Moment is a great place to get it. We post every 2 weeks. We read the comment section, which usually is nobody. So if you could put the value toward us, and we'll put the value toward
if you did. But we are, since we do so many different avenues, it's hard to actually know who's actually listening. Like,
right.
in that regard, I know of people who would listen to it on the podcast on Spotify. It's not as interactive,
Yeah.
So that's that.
Reach out to us. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, even. I'm not. I don't know the demographic we're looking at here, but we would love to interact with you guys. Just build a community. Bring you on the show. We've had multiple interviews over the past couple months. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. We're on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, all the places that you can get a podcast. So be sure to interact with us there. And this was The Creative Moment, Season 10, Episode 3. And we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.